Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? Praise Jesus. I want to say that first. Praise Jesus. So, how's everybody doing today? I hate saying that. I hate saying that word, but we are going to possibly have Holly's going to be on, I think. Yeah, I texted her about like 45 minutes ago and let her know that I was going to be on at 5, and that was 8 o'clock her time. And so I let her know that, that if she couldn't do it, just to let me know, and there's no pressure. But she said she could, but she's not here yet backstage. I don't think. Let me check. You never know with these things here. Yeah, no, she's not back there yet. And so normally I would do 5 minutes anyway, saying hello to everybody. So hey Michael, hey Deb, hey Charity, how you doing? Yeah, man, I'm just like very excited about like how everything is gone, right? Like it's weird because like I think in my head a certain way, right? Like if this happens, then it'll be bad, or if this happens, it'll be good. And it seems like the things I didn't want to happen like kept happening, but things kept getting better. And it's a big lesson, right, in the fact that um, I need to trust God's judgment, right, on everything, even though something may seem right or wrong to me. Sometimes you have to let God do what He does, right? And um, I mean, I can't believe how good things are right now. And normally, I would have been trying to hold things together, trying to uh, go reconcile things that um, really would be a lot of effort, right? And not saying that people aren't worth the effort, but I guess there's just a way to do it that's more compatible to what God wants me to do. And it brings me back to like this conversation I had with AJ Blunt, who told me you gotta let God guide your steps. Like, don't try to do anything out like in front. Like, don't try to like like be out in front doing something. Wait on God to bring you through it. I don't know if I could word it right, but I was going too fast, or I was doing something that I thought would, like, oh yeah, this would be good. God would like this. But it's like in my own strength instead of waiting for Him. And so I wish I would have known this, right? What I know now, like 6 months ago. There's a lot, because it seems like for every one person I don't try to, you know, run out and reconcile with, two more people come back because of that one person left. And you're like, oh, well, I didn't see it that way. I always thought it was like, you try to hold everything together, you know? And I'm not saying that I don't want that. My heart is open. Like, my heart is open for forgiveness and for acceptance, for people to come back or whatever. And that's all you can do, right? I can forgive 70 times 7. I mean, I didn't used to think I could do that, but I can. I really can. And there's really no fight that I can't let go of in one day. Now, if someone comes here to be disruptive, right, and isn't sincere about things, right, then of course I got to jump in and do something about that. But just a lot of weird stuff. You'd be surprised the kind of people that other people connect with just because they want to be against you. And it's like, wow, like, I mean, I don't know, man. It's interesting to see how everything is turning out. And I think God has definitely surprised me with, you know, you know, I mean, there's no way in the world that I would want God's job having to separate people. I wouldn't want that job for anything in the world. And I really hope that a lot more people make it than I think. That's all I'll say. Let's see here. Faith said, sorry. Charity says, Luke, that horrid depression, evil like feeling I felt the other day left. I realized long after the show, I wanted to thank you. I think you said a prayer about it. I was flabbergasted and amazed by that. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And your depression went away? I think that's good. Sometimes like well, I have a I have a kid that deals with that too, but he doesn't like me to talk about it, and I respect that, so I won't. But yeah, it's like most of my life I grew up with like anxiety or depression, things like that. Not mostly just not feeling like I fit anywhere, and it's weird. I think back and it's like nobody ever told me that I didn't fit. It's just that I didn't feel like I did anyway, and it's just crazy, huh? And I guess you could say that I feel that way now, right? You'd have to feel that way now, right, Charity? Like because of everyone being so asleep. And it's not just so much that they don't see it coming, it's that they don't want to know, you know? Yeah, and about Nana, of course, yeah. And I really think about like, picture her like in paradise, and just picture all the positive parts of things, Sometimes it's our thoughts. Yeah, very good. I like that. Yeah, change your thoughts. Yeah, because like um our thoughts create feelings, right? And our feelings create our actions. Pray for each other, the family that prays. Right, right. And that's what I want like people to know, right? This isn't like of course there's gonna be stuff here in contention, crack up here and that. But this is the place you go to, hey, how's the weather? We're supposed to be able to talk about broken, like completely broken and embarrassed and vulnerable, and try to work things out. Oh, hey, I'm glad you brought that up, Rob, because it was a hectic show, and there's a lot of a lot of confusion and a lot of um, you know just a lot of oddness to that too, right? And I hope the robot is better. Is it better now? Is it better? Yes, Tiffany got some good resources from Michael. Found a really good thing that had everything that she wanted. And I'm surprised how good it really was, like how much good stuff there really was in one spot. And so good find for Michael. I'm glad that he took the time to do that. And I haven't gotten any text messages from her today, so and this morning, but not today. So yeah, it looks like everything is good. And so, man, I'm happy about that because it didn't look like we are gonna be able to do anything because it seemed like every resource was kind of blocked in some kind of way, or I don't know. It really seemed like an odd scenario, you know. I've never been usually, you know, I don't know. It was odd to me, and I was just hoping that like, you know, everyone would find what they needed to find. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, Michael did a great job with that, but he has been with her like from the start. And that's I really like we have some high integrity men that come here. And I remember that because it's so unbalanced, right? It's like way more women than men. It's like 80-20, if that. And so you know, having high integrity men is important because this has got to be a safe place. No, she's not backstage yet. I'm surprised. So I don't know what's going on. Let's see if she text messaged me. Oh, she said, okay, yeah, she said that she wants to go tomorrow. she texted me, can we do it tomorrow? It's only 13 minutes into the show, you know. And you know, yeah, I have no problem with that. But yeah, so it'd be cool to have her here tomorrow then. Hey Alex, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, so so Debbie, good. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, I mean the guys here are solid, right? Young guys too, you know. And it's we're in the end times, and people are maturing faster, you know. I think people are going through, you know, their relationships with God faster, like to get to, you know, a real good spot. Usually, it takes a long time for each stage of everything to develop, you know. But I see people getting saved and having real good relationships with God very quickly, you know. And I hope it's like that for everybody here, you know, in the end, right? Like I know for me it took a long time to for each thing to I mean, basically God was waiting on me to get right, you know. But I've seen people get saved and then like really be like mature Christians very fast. And you know, so that's very encouraging. And so I really think we're very close, guys. And it's like it's not even just like the amount of prophecy that's lining up, which that's the main thing, of course, in the Revelation 12 sign that we got in 2017, and the you know the fig tree generation. Those are two things that stick out. That you can't fake the time on those things, you know. And it's like I don't trust any history anymore. I mean, who knows what happened 100, 200, 3 years, you know? Because you like think about this, right? Have you ever thought of like history being like the mainstream news of the past? You know what I mean? Like whatever we're going through now, if there was a like, you know, 50 years from now, they would be talking about all this stuff as if it were real, you know? And that, you know, that we went through that. And so, you know, take it for however you want to take it. But there's certain things out there that I just don't think are real. And they make it real enough because, you know, I think it touches everybody, but not quite as bad as, you know, people like to exaggerate things, you know. They always like to say they were part of the disaster or whatever, and they play up their part as being way worse than it really was. And you're like, why do people do that, you know? And why do I get tempted to do that. Like, and when I know better, right? Like, oh yeah, man, I remember being on that burning building or whatever, and and you're like, man, why do what is it with people, And Luke says the Bible is the best history book. Yeah, absolutely. If I knew then what I know now, then that's the only book. I would give my kids a Bible, and that's it. They don't get to read nothing else, man. And not because I'm trying to be, strict or whatever. It's just there's there's just nothing else. Like there's nothing else that you can trust. Because I think even some of these characters that like they put out there, like Aristotle and whatever. What's the one guy's name that does all the predictions? I can't remember his name now. Nostradamus, right? I think they just like create a guy and then attribute everything that was ever invented to like, oh yeah, this guy did it all. He invented all those things. Like Michelangelo, right? Like, yeah, he invented a helicopter thing and a flying suit, and he painted and he sang songs. So he was like a, quadruple, celebrity. And you're like, man, how come like this one guy gets credited with like 50 things that are like amazing, and you're like, no, that was like a bunch of people or whatever, a bunch of people, and they just make up these heroes that we look in history and go, yeah, that was one of the. Because where are these guys now? Yeah, Da Vinci and Shakespeare. Where are these guys now that write everything and paint all the paintings? You only get a person to do one little sliver of that, maybe. Rob says, yeah. I don't know. This is the thing. Like, I didn't get involved with that, right? Because of like the trap of like, you know, uh, setting people off or whatever. There's so many other ways to prove that the world is fake, that like they want you to like go down these little traps that where people will just demonize you, right? And so I don't know if it is or isn't, but I know that there's a lot of ways to disqualify the news, that's for sure. And so you got to figure, I don't know, man. The odds of anything being real anymore are just crazy, but yeah, maybe. Yeah, I know. Like, it's like they think we're doing that on purpose or something. It's like, look, trust me, I didn't want to find out everything was a lie. Like, some of it's kind of like exciting because it confirms the Bible more, and and I wanted that to be true. But other than that, other than me wanting God to be real, I didn't have an opinion either way of how things were, right? I liked outer space. I thought that was cool stuff. And the thought of a, green man coming and and like saving us with technology. That sounds pretty cool. But that's not reality. That's not real. So, it is what it is, man. Some things you just got to accept. And you know, I just feel bad when something is completely obvious and a person is just in so much denial. And you're like, well, it's obvious at this point. Like, and, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Some things are uncomfortable. They're true, and you're like, okay, well, I got to tell people this thing is true, and I don't even want to say it. Especially like the Hollywood inverts came up for me this week again. It's like I don't want to believe that. Trust me, I don't. And but it's hard to deny that. It's hard to deny it. And it's not my favorite subject, But that's what helped me not fall for the Trump stuff, right? Because like I was gonna fall for it, man. I was like right in there, and you know, wasn't sure about him. I'm kind of like Luke on that one. I'm not sure, but he's definitely married to a male, right? And so it's like, well, okay, well, you know, now that I know that, I can accept it and move on, right? Staying in denial only keeps you on the subject, and it's horrible. I mean, I don't want to, be stuck on that or be trying to defend someone in Hollywood, some Satanist. I mean, I don't know those people. I just think it's weird, man. I just think it's weird, man, to be worshiping a goat god with, I mean, that's a nasty looking thing. Have you guys ever seen the Baphomet? It's a nasty looking thing. It's a goat and it's got, oh, never mind. I don't even want to talk about that. But yeah, it's weird, right? Yeah, wanting less of the two evils. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I still get sucked in. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. You're like, oh, I just don't want to be involved with it. Yeah. But I was thinking right at the time, and I got straight up rebuked, man, like by one of my friends, like publicly, right? But it's so beautiful because I mean, that along with everything else at that time really changed my life because it was right when I found out about flat Earth, and that really pumped me up as far as my faith, really pumped me up. And I was feeling it was right. It was either that, or, it was right around that time, and might have been just after. And I was telling, so the Q thing was out, and I was telling my friend to explain Q to my friend. I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is real or not, but like this is what they say. And I said, if it's true, it's kind of like our only hope. And she yelled like right in my face. She's about 70 years old, right? And I think at the time I was like 40 something, 41 or whatever, maybe not even that. And she goes, Jesus is our only hope. And I was like, oh, like straight conviction everywhere, right? And I knew exactly at that moment, right, that we didn't have anybody else. There was nobody else. Not that I didn't know that already, right? It's just I needed to hear it in that way, to know that there's no people that is gonna make this better. Not before Jesus comes back. Instead of like trying to be on the good side of this thing, it's easier to just let it go. You know? Yeah. Hey, Ann, how are you doing? Let's see here. See the biblical petrified flood bodies. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like you can't deny the flood now. Like there's so much evidence of the flood. But see, you know how they try to explain it away by calling it that, oh, there was a mud flood or something like that. Now, I don't know about that. Maybe there was something like that, but I think they were just hiding because of all the damage of the real flood. Of course, it's going to bring mud up, you know. But look at these buildings that we can't even build today. Like, shouldn't that be obvious to people that are like carpenters or like architects that, like, wow, I could never make that building, Especially back then when, glass wasn't mass produced. It was like, one piece at a time, done by hand. There's no way these curved curved windows and all that are all the same size, perfect in all these buildings. Like, no way. Absolutely no way. Rob says, going where no man has gone before with Spock and Captain Kirk and the Green Lizard Man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I used to believe in that too, man. I'm like, I I believed in God, right? Like as an adult, I did, right? But I also believed in that too. It's weird. Like I believed in God, but I also believed in cavemen. And when I was a kid, I mean, I had no doubts I came from a monkey. You know, it was more than just believing it. I knew I came from a monkey, and it's like is that crazy or what? You know, I was a little kid, you know, excited about school, had all my books and everything, and they lied to me, man. Like I was really trying to do good, you know, and they lied to me, man. My head was full of lies about big old lizards that lived back in the day and were flying around on a speck and in infinity, right? Infinity is out there. They told me they flew a rocket all the way around and there's no God, right? That's what they told us. But it's very, very sad, right? If you think about it like that, from the angle of, you know, when you were a kid and excited about life and wanting to learn about stuff, all the disappointing things that they told us, you know. Luke says they also try to say multiple floods around the world cover up the one big one. They will say anything to make you turn away from the truth. Absolutely. And if the earth was a sphere, there would be no such thing as a flood, man. Like like everything would be going down and away from you at 8 inches per mile squared. So you wouldn't be able to flood anything. There would always be runoff. And so like of course the whole earth flooded at once because we're inside the earth. We're, you know, it's like a snow globe, and it makes sense now, you know, just how that works. You open up the top, pour the water in, and bada bing, right? And so everybody that died in that flood had 120 years to decide to get on that boat. And so that sounds pretty fair to me. Because sometimes I think God just wants you to be, you know, to choose to be part of things, you know, to choose to turn away from what's bad, you know. And to say that there's multiple floods, I mean, when everybody has the same flood story in every country, right? Like there's whatever's written or whatever they have left or something, you know, it's like there's always a flood story in every, you know, every history. Pilots don't have to compensate for their trajectory for the curve. Yeah, just fly straight. I remember someone trying to argue that point, right? Because you would have to dip the nose down, right? You would have to in order to go around the curve, or else you would gain altitude. And so someone tried to argue the point that the plane flies. Uh, how did he put it? Oh, the plane flies parallel to gravity. Now, gravity's already like it's conceptual. It only exists in your brain. It's an idea, right? And so like electricity is real. I can hand you some electricity, you can manipulate it. Like I can hand you some magnetism, you can play with it. Even though it's invisible, I can give it to you because it's real, right? Like I can't hand you any gravity to manipulate or to you know, test anything. Like I could even hand you air. You know, the air is real. You could feel it. You know what I mean? And so like the problem is that a lot of these um especially when you start getting into theoretical particle physics and you know really theoretical astrophysics and all that, like they I mean a lot of people they can't tell the difference between something that's conceptual or real. And space-time is not a real thing, right? Like it's a concept, it's a conceptual medium, right? Like it's not a real thing that I can hand you. It's an idea, right? And there literally are very, very smart people that can't tell the difference between space-time and a rock. That one is real and one is conceptual. And it's sad, man. I mean, it's sad because it's not really even you can't even call somebody dumb, right? Because I've like seen people way smarter than me not get that. Yeah. Debbie says, I don't try to figure all these things out. I don't have the time. Yeah, but you're right. You're right. You know, and most of the time I tried to like figure these things out, right? To like thinking that this would be the thing that would wake people up, you know? Like I'm like honing the skills, right? And like trying to get like a good spiel to tell people thinking, oh yeah, this will wake people up. And then um and then they'll want to know about God. But that doesn't work either, you know? I think I don't know what works. I guess just tell the truth about everything, and maybe people will like, I always picture people walking by and we're like talking in a group and that they'd want to be part of it and come join us, you know? What does that conversation have to look like, you know? I don't know. I don't know. I just try to walk the walk, right? You know, be really forgiving, uh try to be patient with people. I try not to get angry when people are unfair to me, right? So like that way, if people can see that, then um, maybe that'll help, right? And then of course surrounding myself with you guys can do that too. And like I think it's a good way to, you know, it's a good example for people. Rob says that's the hook. Once they can get a person to believe the ball earth universe, then they can separate you from God. Yeah. And see, I used to think, right, that like if I can prove the flat earth, which I mean you can now, it's easy to prove flat earth. It's not even a debate anymore. Like that that people would believe in God more. But you just get people that fight it even more, you know? And I always wondered that, like, why do people fight that? Like, why don't, I mean, if something is real, why don't they want it to be real? I mean, I'm relieved that, like, I finally people like, now I know some of the truth about the world. Luke says, I think our action towards others can wake people up to the truth. They're more likely to open up as well as hear you out. Also, baby steps and patience. Exactly. Small seeds, Luke. Absolutely. And I'm always telling people that, like, okay, you got to just plant smaller seeds. It's hard to get anybody from start to finish. It's almost impossible to get someone from the beginning to the end. You got to just plant little seeds and hope somebody else waters it, and God is in charge of the increase, right? And you know, it's great when a believer gets, God makes a believer in front of you. Nothing feels better than that. But what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? Oh man, it's like you don't even know anymore, right? People like, I don't know. I mean, I wonder if people are even in denial about like, is it the end or whatever? Like, I'll say this, right? If it's not the end, which I think it is, but if it's not the end, I mean, I don't know how long things are gonna go, right? Like, I don't know how long things are gonna go like this. Not very long, that's for sure. It's over either way. I mean, eventually the economy will pop. Like it's just insane what they're doing. Like to be this much in debt is crazy. It's like almost $40 trillion, and I mean that's a crazy amount of money. And so just that alone, right, is going to break everything, let alone the moral depravity and just all these other things that, you know, I can't believe some of these things are even topics, that people are discussing. And so I look, every time anything looks different or weird outside, I keep picturing God coming down on that cloud, a width of sizes. That's what I do. I try to do some. Oh yeah, micro. Yeah. Little micro seeds, right? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. They could wipe out poverty in one day. You're right. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that, Ann. Like, like the whole idea of somebody having more than they need means that somebody doesn't have enough, right? Like, I mean, it's like everyone thinks that there's going to be some alien or some robot is going to like find out how to solve all the world's problems, but what happens when that little green man or robot says, hey, rich people, you got to give your money to the poor people? They're not going to do that. There's no such thing as no little green guy that's going to say that. I mean, it's absurd. Like, oh yeah, like maybe an alien from a far planet will tell us how to fix our problems. Yeah, but you're not going to like it. That's the problem, right? I know. It's so, doesn't that suck though, Faith? Like, I mean, Charity, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's fake money, but like they make it to where we can't operate without it. Now, imagine this, right? As long as that money is on the outside of your body, you can get some to spend on things that you need in tough situations. As soon as they put that money inside your body, where um, it comes from inside of your body to spend it, they could just turn off your chip anytime they want, and now you can't buy anything. And so that's why it's so important to have body autonomy, right? Like this is the last generation of body autonomy, and that's a sad thing to say that they're going to get inside of our skin, and that should be the the final spot, the final line to draw is I don't want anyone to breach my skin. And that I think that's going to be, they're probably going to end up killing me over it. And so like, you know, yeah, they're trying to tie nitrogen fertilizer to climate change. Oh wow, are they? They're trying to engineer food shortage. Yeah, they are. They are. No, there's no doubt. Because all these food places, right, are being like they're all being destroyed in a different way. Like, there was one, a plane hit one food place. There was a fire at another one. I mean, there's too many accidents, that are all lining up, and it's always some kind of food distributor or food warehouse or something like being destroyed. So it is what it is. I mean, I've learned to eat rice and oatmeal or whatever. I could do that for a long period of time. I don't know how it's going to help other people. I mean, why can't you see those comments? You mean you can't see this right here? Rob's comment? Should be able to see it. I don't know, Deb. Well, I know this. Um, Faith and Alex couldn't see each other, and they didn't ban each other, so I don't know what's going on. Michael says, I don't even want to bring up the details. Yeah. It's just absolutely crazy. Yeah. No, we have to be in the end. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's no, yeah, I'm not gonna, yeah, no way. And this is what's sad though, is that my kids are old enough. They're adults now, but they're very, very young adults that they can make these decisions for themselves, and they're not ready at the same time. And so, I mean, maybe I'll have some influence on them, but it's ultimately going to be up to them. And I absolutely, fear. That's what I do fear. I fear stuff like that. I grieve for other people, definitely for my kids, and I just don't want them to fall for this. I don't want them to fall for it. Rob says, I don't understand when you say a person has left here. I don't think we ever talk about anything offensive ever. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know it, but like sometimes it can just go down to like this, Rob. Like if a person has one belief they want you to believe and you don't, sometimes I don't know. Sometimes that's the thing, right? And then it if you look at it in a group, right? It's normally the same things, or it's a problem someone has with somebody else, and they want me to do more than I can do about it. And so I don't know, right? I don't know. Rise above it is what I tell people. I mean, the people that have been here the longest know that about me. If you can ignore what someone else is doing to you and just rise above it, try to love those people anyway, even though they're difficult, then you'd really be doing them some good. And here's the thing, right? It may not be fair, right? If somebody's always doing something and you always got to be the one to rise above, but if you're capable of doing it, I mean, you can't. I mean, it's kind of on you, and it stinks, right? But but that's. I mean, you know, if you put God in the center, then God loves my enemy too, right? And so I got to figure it out, and it can only make you better, right? It can only make you better as a person, better with your relationship with God. The more you're outside of yourself. And so but you can't convince everybody of that. It's a small group of people can get that. And so, you hope. I mean, you hope. And I pray a lot about everybody. And trust me, when people are gone, I still love them. There's no doubt. Like, my heart is still with them. But, but what can you do except be here when they come back? Yeah, of course. I mean, and I'm guilty of that too, Rob, but I'm guilty of that too. But it's like, we gotta like, make corrections, right? Like when it happens, we gotta drop that real quick. Because I'm here for God, for His pleasure, right? Like I'm not here to be Mr. Cool. I'm not here to always be respected and all this other stuff, right? Like all those days are gone, right? Now that I know the truth about the world, I'm here for God, right? So, I mean, that's the way it is, right? So if God loves you and God loves me, then we better learn to get along and love each other because that's what He wants. And if you can't do that, right? Well, that's very telling about you, you know. And so I don't know what to say, Like what can you do except keep your heart open and really be able to forgive. And then when it's time to forgive, you can do it. Yeah, that's why people fast. Absolutely, Deb. Absolutely. To learn to do that kind of stuff. And as Michael says, I feel like I don't eat. I get more hungry to seek and hear from the Lord. Oh, that's amazing, Michael. It's amazing. That's a beautiful thing that you're saying right there. Rob says, "Yeah, I'm here to learn and help." Rick, exactly. They see that's what I try to tell people. Right? Is like when you've outgrown this place, which is, I mean, everyone outgrows this place eventually. Then it like then you get to help other people. Like I mean, that it's just that simple. But I've had people that just like they've outgrown this place and want to move on. It's better for them somewhere else. Okay, that's cool. If you feel led to go somewhere, then that's cool. But it seems like for every one person that leaves, one person comes because the numbers are always the same. And so I don't know. I don't know. It is what it is, right? And yeah, I used to enjoy food too, and now it's just not. I eat like a bird now. My mom used to say that all the time. My dad, he's go, "You eat like a bird." I think it's to get us ready for. Yeah, yeah. Well, I remember eating a bag of Doritos when I was a kid, thinking that that was good food. But I couldn't eat a bag of Doritos now. Like, there's no way. I couldn't eat 3 Doritos right now. Something about that is not good to me. But when I was a little kid, I mean, I could have eaten 5 bags in a row. I don't know how, but something is different. Sorry about that, guys. I got addicted to fizzy water. I like the bubbles in it. Yeah, it's just unbelievable, right? Well, I mean, it's sometimes the chat could be wild, man. Could be a wild place, and I get it, especially because we would intentionally talk about things that were you know, kind of contentious, right? And see, I'm of the opinion that like, okay, well, talking about things is fun. Talking about God is the best, most fun thing that I like to do. But if people are going to get upset with each other over things, what can you do? And so I like to talk about all that stuff, but it always leads to something. And so yeah, a lot of us are losing our taste for food. I think God's coming back. I think he's coming back very soon. Like not just there won't be another year left. Like we're way less than that. And I think this is it. I can't wait. I really can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait for. So Holly said we'll do this tomorrow. For those of you that were here for her, sorry about that. And but part of it is being understanding when somebody can't do it, and so I definitely don't mind. I would rather people agree to do it and then at the last minute not be able to than to never commit at all. Because I know it's already hard to talk in front of people. It's not easy to find something to save an hour a day, twice a day. And so I get that, right? And so, if somebody tries, then that's good enough for me. And so, yeah, I can't wait for that wedding feast. I really can't. Uh, Stephanie sent me all the like the whole tradition of the wedding and everything, and it's cool. Like all the stuff is cool. It's big. I mean, it's a big text. I could send it to you, but it's big. So I was excited about that. Yes, I can't wait. I cannot wait until we're incorruptible. I mean, that's what I want, right? Is not being able to be tempted or corrupted in any way. Yeah, there's no way there's going to be a next year. I'll tell you what though, Charity, though, is you're really gonna, for what you're doing, you're gonna help some people that are gonna be here. Like you'll help yourself at first, right? But really there's gonna be some people that'll benefit from what you're doing. Probably save some lives for sure. Give them enough time to do what they need to do. Less than a year would be pretty wild. I'd be happy with that. Yeah, Luke, absolutely. Absolutely. People hate you when you tell them the truth, man. They hate it, you know? What kind of world is that, you know? Do I really want, like, I have kids, right? So I have to think of grandkids growing up in this world. I mean, what do you do, man? What do you do? So I'm not sure anyone would outgrow fellowship. Yeah, well, I mean, what can you do? I think because it's a mission at the same time, Rob, and like there's always going to be people that like come in that are not saved, that may even be very broken, like how we were before we got saved. And so when you do a fellowship, you try to keep them with equal beliefs and equally yoked, But when you're letting people in, like, to like try to get saved, right? Then there's always going to be somebody broken, right? Or not quite right, or has the wrong idea about something. And so, yeah, does that affect the whole group? Sure, it does. I mean, it goes in streaks, right? It'll be great. Everyone will be loving each other for a little bit and enjoy those moments, right? Because it'll go right back to being grumbly again, and then it goes in streaks, you know. And but it's enough, right, to where it's worth it, because on those good times it's really worth it, right? And even on the bad times it's worth it to me. So I don't know. Yes, I want it to be without ills or disease or no sin, no pain, no old age, no suffering, no dying, right? I want to be clean all the time, you know? I think that'll be great. Yes, I want to wash feet for eternity. I know it. I know it, Deb. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. And that's the thing, Charity, is like, especially like if you're gonna be a truther, right? Without Jesus, right? Then it's all for nothing, right? Because if you follow it all the way, it leads to Jesus. He is the truth, right? And so that's you can't profit from the truth without him, you know? And I mean that's just is what it is. And it's sad. It's sad when you see people that stop just short of that. And you're like, wow, you went through all the ridicule, all the stuff, all the same stuff that I had to go through with how the majority feels about us. And then not ever get to know Jesus. That's like the worst. I mean, I can't even imagine. Like why would you stop before you get to the best part? Yeah, the new body will be amazing. Yes, absolutely. Incorruptible, glorified body, made to last forever. Can you imagine that? I mean, think of how sturdy that thing would be. I'm not gonna pull a hamstring or nothing like that. Alrighty, guys, it's time for me to hit the old dusty trail, and so I will say this. Yes, absolutely, Debbie. Alrighty, guys. Thank you guys for coming. Praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace. All glory to God because he deserves it. And please pray for the children. Pray for anyone being victimized out there. Pray for each other. And it's important. And I will see you guys, Lord willing, tomorrow at 7 a.m. California time.